Hi everyone and welcome back to the B Show. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than my movie reaction, first time watching video thing stuff, wow. Today I will be doing a critical review of the movie Jaws. Yeah, I'll explain more in a sec. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Brendan. I'm an actor, commercials, theater, and a couple lines in some TV shows. Nothing crazy so far. But I am also currently in the process of getting my BA in English and working my way towards a master's in writing. So currently I'm taking a film analysis course. This is not the course, this is the textbook. And the main topic of the course is genre. So my first essay is a critical review of a movie of my choice, and I have to determine the genre, or if it's a cross between genres, and what devices the movie uses to indicate that it is said genre, and how effective it is, and how much it either follows along or strays from the traditional tropes of that genre. Alright, so if you're still with me and haven't clicked to another video yet, thanks! That's what we're going to be doing. So I will be going through the movie Jaws. I have seen this movie a ton of times. It will not be a first reaction like my normal videos. And if people like this, I will do more of this, especially during this course. So I will be breaking down the movie scene by scene. I don't know if I'll show you guys every scene, but I'll show you the interesting moments I come up with. The main focus being determining the genre, and I'm going to try to take note of any other interesting thematic devices or plot devices or techniques used to convey any sort of message in any way. We're just going to kind of dig through the movie and see what we can come up with. I know that there are already a ton of essays and YouTube videos and whatnot already analyzing this movie, but I want to look at it from a fresh perspective before I dive into those things. So before we get to the movie, the reason why I chose Jaws is because it's one of the movies where I never quite know what genre to define it as. I want to go with horror right away, but then it also has like action elements and thriller elements, but then that also leads to questioning, does every horror movie have elements of thriller and suspense? Are thriller and suspense subcategories within action, horror, western, musical, whatever the genre may be? These are all questions I need to think about. Ultimately, at this point, before watching the movie, I would say it is a mixture of two. I feel like the first half of the movie has horror elements mainly, and then the second half of the movie is like an action man versus nature hunting down the shark with this trio of guys. Like, how would you even define the difference between thriller and suspense, or thriller and horror, or thriller and action? Isn't horror thrilling? Isn't action thrilling? All questions to ask. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get into the movie. Please feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you would like to see more. You can also follow me on TikTok under @TheBShow. At the end of the video, I will put the 2 Jaws TikTok tributes that I made if you're interested in checking those out. There will be timestamps and links and all that stuff below in the description. Okay, blah blah blah. Let's start watching Jaws. Okay, I got Sharky here with me. I'm just setting up. Okay, so I did do a little bit of Googling right before this, and I saw on Wikipedia that it classifies Jaws as a horror thriller. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, yeah, I guess so. The movie is ultimately a horror because there is a monster, or beast, whatever, that is killing, eating people. So I guess that makes it a horror. And then I looked up Jurassic Park, and it said science fiction, action, adventure. And I was like, but that's also monsters, or beasts, whatever. eating and murdering people. So what is the difference? Why is Jaws a horror and Jurassic Park is an action-adventure? That's something I'm going to think about as we go into this. Please feel free to debate. Okay, let's start the movie. Hi guys, this is not ready for camera editing Brendan. I had so many issues putting this video together. I had erased the original copy of the movie and I uploaded this one with the watermark on it and the sound is off at parts. So I apologize for that. My videos are not normally like this. I've learned some valuable lessons, but here we go, enjoy. Well, I already know that this is my favorite, maybe one of the most epic openings to a movie ever. Yeah, John Williams. Now, they are showing all these other kids getting drunk and stoned, and the one guy who runs with Chrissy on the beach ends up passing out because he's so drunk. But they don't show Chrissy doing anything. I mean, it's implied, obviously. She's sitting distance from the crowd. Maybe we sympathize with her a little bit more because she's not partaking in this and feels like an outsider. Her being sober and him being the drunk one is playing with our expectations right away. But then I'm also wondering if this, you know, the Scream rules. If you drink or party or have sex, you're gonna die in a horror movie. Was that already a trope by 75 or not? So good. My heart drops. I've seen this a million times. And her screams are super real. Apparently in the studio, Spielberg was pretty much like waterboarding her, like pouring water down her throat as she screamed, but it's so realistic. So good. I love that contrast of her screams and the chaotic music and everything just coming to a dead silent standstill. The first time we meet Brody, we see a shot of the water and then Brody coming into the foreground out of his window looking at the water. And they live on an island. He used to live in New York where it was crazy, and now they're on an island where it's meant to be more relaxing and peaceful. But the idea of an island, much like when they're on the Orca, and Spielberg doesn't want to show any land, so you feel like there's nowhere to go. The island is also surrounded by water. It's like Brody's trapped everywhere and surrounded by this threat. Now, as for genre, with the first scene, it very much is set up like a horror movie. The threat is unseen. I know that wasn't intentional when Spielberg started the movie, but the shark kept breaking down. But the fact that you can't see it, it leaves a lot to your imagination. It's an unknown threat. We know it's a shark, but it definitely sets up the horror theme of there being a murderous creature out there. We're also seeing how busy he is, but with all this mundane stuff, nothing serious like in New York City where it would have been all crime. There's a 4th of July celebration, a parade. We know this takes place during 4th of July, but that emphasizes the Americana aspect of it all. So essentially the shark could be a metaphor for anything that attacks the American dream.
What else could have done that to that girl?
I mean, this theme with the mayor, it's almost a commentary on capitalism. Okay, the tension Spielberg creates in this scene is amazing. I mean, you have to give credit to Hitchcock because he is the original ultimate tension creator and Spielberg was a huge fan, but very great homage. The scene constantly goes from tense to relaxed, tense to relaxed. And also they're setting up that we never know who the shark is going to get. There's all these options. and everyone's at risk. Spielberg's doing quite a few shots from Brody's POV, which is really helping to relate to the character. But this build of tension is definitely horror movie-like. The anticipation is building with the intent to frighten. And we, the audience, with Brody, are also like, is he overreacting? Oh, just relax. What was that? Oh, it's nothing. And the contrast of him panicking with the Muffin Man, the like tension, and it's just great. Also, the skipping past the feet. That's like, why didn't he pick that one? Who is he picking? What is he going for? That shot, I love it. Okay, well, it is pretty horrific. The blood especially. Okay, well, now thinking of the blood and that aspect of it, recalling the deaths in Jurassic Park, the first guy as they're loading the raptor, you see no gore. The lawyer on the toilet, you see him eat him, but there's no blood or body parts flying, he just shakes him in his mouth. Nedry gets attacked in the car. Muldoon when he's hunting, clever girl. A leaf is covering it and it's rattling. You do see Samuel L. Jackson's severed arm, but it's not like dripping blood or anything. It's pretty mild. So maybe that's the huge difference that takes Jaws to a horror where Jurassic Park isn't. Oh, too loud. I'm like her. But yay, Quint. He's acknowledging their capitalist perspective. He does not share it. And like, he wants to do it a one-on-one mission. He wants it to be me versus Shark. I will find this, I will kill him, I will get you. But he also wants money, and he also gives in to allowing the other guys on the mission in the long run. So, I don't know what that means. Clearly I'm doing a lot of free flow thought throughout this. Some of this may be drivel and nonsensical and not important at all. Ultimately, I know that horror is going to be a part of the final genre conclusion here. I just don't know if I'm going to split it between horror and action-adventure for first half and second, or call it the whole thing a hybrid of horror, action-adventure. I'm also tempted to put thriller in there. I did Google the dictionary definition of thriller, and it said it's based more on a mood, that it creates a tension and an atmosphere is what condones a thriller, and usually it's a subcategory. So I think this would be a horror thriller, horror slash action adventure thriller. More of these disturbing shark pictures to set up the tension, especially for these guys on the dock. I had noticed the contrast between tension and relaxation, I guess, before with this movie. I just didn't realize how it's in pretty much every scene so far. Even this whole attack with these guys, it's gonna build the tension and we're like, and then, oh, the shark isn't there anymore. It really just is a great thing that the shark didn't work. Like, all of these POV underwater or at the surface level of the water shots really make you feel like you are there. And it's so much scarier than just seeing a shark. Even this, inside he's all tense and everyone outside is all like having fun and chilling. The whole tension relaxed thing, I'm thinking, is going to get repetitive because it's clearly a very obvious running theme, which only emphasizes the horror. The whole purpose is to set up the horror. I 100% have to put horror for the first half of this movie. Brody and the mayor are getting along for the first time. You'll never believe it. We caught the shark. Everything's going to be okay. And then the mother's gonna come in and slap him in the face with a dose of reality that this is not about money and business. This is about lives. This scene is so cute and does a great job at, you may, if you've seen my other videos where I do like first reactions, I've often talked about showing and not telling and how I really like when they do that. This has no dialogue and it tells so much about Brody and what he's going through. It makes us more connected to the family, shows all of the reasons why he's wants to go through with this and protect everybody. It's for the children.
No.
Zero table manners, but there's something about that that's like the shark. Maybe it's trying to relate, like the shark's just eating like we need to. That's why it's so random. Hooper here is talking about being rich and having a lot of money, and I know that in the book, in the original script, he was meant to die, but then in Australia, the people who filmed the footage of the real sharks got this footage of a shark attacking a shark cage, but there was no one in it, and Spielberg wanted to use it so badly that he changed the script so that Hooper escaped, so they could use that footage of that shark attack. But the fact that he was supposed to die makes sense because he is more along the lines of science against nature. This was the only underwater scene not shot in the ocean. This was done in a tank or a pool or whatever. Oh, it got me a little bit because the volume's so loud. Peter Benchley, one responsible for all of this. Using this same perspective but without music is great too. We rely on the music to know when it's actually the shark. So he's just built the tension with that fake shark and then let us breathe right here, and then right away he's gonna come back with the girl like, there's a shark in the pond right here. But we have the same feeling as Brody, like, we just did this. For real? It's the first semi-sighting of the shark. More gore, horror, but it also just swims right past the sun. Adding more to the, like, when is it, who is it gonna choose, when is it gonna attack? Much like capitalism, he's only worried about issues outside of his realm when it affects him. My kids are on that beach too. But he's still like, I can just say that I had to do it, and that people, even when his own children are at threat, he's forcing himself to sign it. Alright, well, the signing of that paper indicates the turning point in the movie. This is where we now go to the hunting of the man versus shark. This is where I'm leaning more toward action-adventure for now. His hands being covered in blood and all these jaws, things around. There's a lot of relation between Quint and the shark. They're similar in ways. So Hooper's clearly on the scientific side of things. And Brody's the everyday man. That's why we've been through his point of view. Spielberg wants us to relate most to Brody. Awesome shot. Also, I take back what I said before, that him signing the paper was the turning point in the movie. That shot is Spielberg's intended turning point. Now we're in the hunt. The fade over, that bloody water faded over, superimposed over the image of the orca. Super cool and says a lot. More foreshadowing. Still playing with tension and versus relaxation. I'm still ultimately feeling horror set up. And now they're on his turf. They set up the fear of the water, the fear of the shark. And now we've gotten rid of land. Spielberg won't show land in any background shot for the rest of the movie. until maybe the very end when they're swimming back.
Shut off that engine.
The music is still doing the horror theme as well. Music's great. It's like non-stop driving, like the shark. It's like a heartbeat. See, the music here, though, in this half of the movie, it really changes to this pirate, out-to-sea adventure kind of music. Now that we see the shark, we're afraid still, but it's more like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this? What are we gonna do to fix our situation? Which feels a bit more action-adventure than horror, just trying to survive. I don't know, it feels action-adventure to me now. You're not like, the shark ran, oh my gosh, ah, like we were at the beginning. This is such a great monologue. This feels like horror setup though, and right as soon as this story ends and makes us that much more afraid of sharks, the shark runs into the side of the boat. I was wrong, the attack isn't right after the tense speech. We go back to relaxed, and then it's gonna happen. Clever. And the water getting in the boat is even more of like they're losing any territory that is their own. The whole barrel thing is great too, a happy coincidence from the shark not working, but it does build that tension. You don't know when it's going to pop up. That's one of the scary things about sharks. You can't see, you don't know where it is. I think the main thing that is having me lean toward the music, action, adventure, instead of horror for the second half, is that we're more concerned with them catching and killing the shark than who he's going to attack next. See, in this part, he can't go down with 3 barrels and then he goes down. It is setting up the strength and power of the shark. But I feel like rather than to create horror from that, it's more to create or show what these guys are up against. You see Quint starting to give up. This is always a big moment for me when he gives it to Hooper's techniques. As I said before, Hooper was supposed to die. I will show you the shot that Spielberg changed the script for. Now this feels horror again. This shot. I think it goes back to it. Yeah, there. One of the coolest shark death scenes ever here. Yeah. It's the feet. I mean, this big explosion part with the shark at the end is very action-adventure. This is our big, the everyday man saves the day. It's giving us a mix of the sailor music and the horror music here. The underlying beat with the sailor theme. It is awesome. Our first shot with the land in the distance here. Even as a kid, I was always like, they're so calm here. I'd still be like, there are other sharks, get me out of here, get me out of here. So good. Okay, so that's Jaws. One of my faves. So ultimately, I think I'm going to end up going with the horror and action-adventure combo. Definitely, I would put the first half of the movie just horror. And then I would do the combo for the second half. And I think the music indicates a lot of that. You can tell when they were combining the horror element with the action and adventure element. And as I said before, the difference between why isn't Jurassic Park a horror is the gore and the blood in this one. It's a horror thriller with a hybrid of action-adventure at the end, I guess. But then on the other hand, this was the first blockbuster, summer blockbuster as it were. It started it all with tons of merchandise and lineups around the block and all that. So did this start its own genre, the blockbuster, which is a mix of action, adventure, thriller, comedy. There are definite comedy elements in here. Kind of combines all the genres to create the blockbuster. I would love to hear people's opinions on this. Please feel free, if you have made it this far and all of this interests you, please feel free to discuss in the comments. Okay, so that's about it for my analysis. I could delve much more into the movie, but I just want to stick mostly to genre as the topic because we'd be here forever. I will show you my Jaws TikToks. The first one we have is me recreating the opening scene as Chrissy getting attacked. So yeah, here's that. Enjoy.
Come on in the water!
The next one, I used the stuffed shark. I really wanted to get this guy in there. And I did kind of a hybrid of the whole last half of the movie. It has Brody chumming to them talking about the size of the shark to Quint getting attacked. I did use strawberry smoothie to spit up blood when I'm Quint getting eaten. It is kind of gross. But anyway, here is the second Jaws TikTok.
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Shut off that engine.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons of.
Okay, thank you so much for hanging out. If you would like to see more deep analysis videos like this rather than just first reactions, let me know. I will do more of those too. Also, if you did enjoy the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You can also follow me on TikTok under @TheBShow. Yeah, that's about it. I hope everyone enjoyed, and I will see you next time on The B Show. Bye, everyone.